They moved in after the second wave of evacuations. Families from all over, Boston, Houston, Bakersfield, were being relocated to protected housing communities across the country. The media said it was temporary, the officials said it was precautionary. But by the time the first missiles hit oil terminals overseas, America's suburban heartland had already begun its silent transformation. And one of those places was called Halstead Grove. Publicly, it was just another trust circle development. Clean, symmetrical homes, auto-irrigated lawns, digital fences. Privately, it was listed in a government memo as Civic Shelter Unit 147B. Nobody told the new residents. Catherine McNeil was one of the first arrivals. A school teacher from Illinois, recently widowed. Her husband had died in the Kabul withdrawal. When Halstead offered her a safe place with her son, she didn't hesitate. But Halstead wasn't safe. It was observing. Within a week, Catherine received a welcome packet with no return address. Inside was a silver key, a map of the neighborhood with 3 houses circled, and a message that read, "Some structures protect life, others prepare it." Her son, Jamie, started sleepwalking, always at 2:47 a.m., always toward one of the 3 marked houses. One night, she followed him. He stopped at the doorstep of House 12, pressed his forehead to the door and whispered, "We're ready now." That house? It was empty, supposedly. She tried reporting it, but Halstead didn't have a real HOA. Only 2 names ever responded to resident inquiries, Langston and E. Lockridge. She remembered those names from the files her husband once showed her, back when he worked at the Pentagon. Names tied to experimental behavioral communities. Names connected to psychographic military simulations. Halstead wasn't a shelter. It was a test. The war overseas had accelerated a domestic program, Project EIDOLON, a psychological conditioning model designed to pre-program civilian responses under threat conditions, to observe how fear spreads, how loyalty forms, how identity breaks. And the trust circle model? It was the perfect prototype. But Catherine wasn't supposed to see the file, wasn't supposed to access the underground utility panel beneath House 12, wasn't supposed to find her son's name listed in the segment titled Phase 2, Child Assimilation Response Trials. She tried to leave. The gates redirected her. She tried to call DC. The call rerouted to Langston. He said, we're not keeping you here. You've already agreed. You signed the consent the moment you stepped onto the property." Catherine went silent, because he was right. In the moving packet, in fine print, she had signed a document titled Social Compliance Waiver 17C. She burned it, and that's when the air vents in her house began whispering. Not just noise, words. Obedience is adaptation. Belonging is safety. Integration is peace. Jamie stopped responding to his name. At school, he answered only to Unit 7. He drew blueprints of tunnels beneath Halstead Grove, places Catherine couldn't find on any map. She confronted the principal. They said Jamie was thriving, that he'd been selected for leadership conditioning. She demanded to opt out. She was handed a sealed envelope. Inside, a photo of her husband, alive, standing beside Langston, time-stamped 2 weeks ago. "You want out? Bring Jamie to the basement of House 12. Leave alone." She did, and never came back. Today, Halstead Grove has new residents. The war still rages overseas. But here, things are peaceful. The sprinklers still run at 6 a.m., the neighbors still wave. And a new family just moved into House 7. Their son has started sleepwalking, always at 2:47 a.m. 2 years after Catherine disappeared, Jamie was now one of Halstead Grove's oldest children. But something about him was different. He was obedient, focused, distant. The neighbors called him bright. The teachers called him advanced. The truth? He didn't remember his mother at all. He lived with a guardian named Patricia Vale, registered therapist, circle-approved caretaker, and the same woman who had once run integration conditioning in another trust circle complex on the East Coast. Her credentials were flawless, but no one could trace where she had actually trained. One night, Jamie found a photograph in a shoebox in the garage. A woman, laughing, holding a toddler on her shoulders. On the back, in smudged ink, for Jamie, when the time comes, remember the door behind the freezer. He didn't understand, but he couldn't forget it. That week, drills intensified in the community. Neighbors were asked to stay indoors for detection testing. All internet access was routed through a single portal, run by Lockridge Central Services. The next night, Jamie found the freezer. Behind it, a panel. Inside, a tunnel. And written in chalk on the wall, some systems are built to contain, others to train. He crawled through. It led to House 12. In the basement, he found dozens of chairs bolted to the floor, all facing a glass wall. Beyond the glass, children, wearing headsets, staring at static. Their pupils dilated. Jamie ran, but when he emerged, Patricia was waiting. "You weren't supposed to see that yet," Jamie demanded answers. "Your mother gave everything to keep you safe. You were never meant to carry this." She handed him another envelope. Inside, a flash drive. Files, audio, video, footage of his mother, testifying, resisting, fighting back. "If you're watching this, they haven't erased me yet. Don't let them erase you." Jamie uploaded it. Within 48 hours, the footage hit a dark web forum called Echo Run. From there, it spread. A journalist in D.C. found it. An ex-CIA analyst confirmed Catherine's identity. The term Project Eidolon trended for 7 hours before the thread vanished. The next morning, Jamie was gone. Patricia said he ran away. But residents whispered something else. That they saw Langston's car parked outside House 12. That night, the air vents in every home echoed a new phrase. The system doesn't need permission. It only needs patterns. 3 months passed. Halstead Grove returned to calm. But far away, in Virginia, someone else had seen the footage. Evan Locke. He was a data analyst, former NSA contractor turned whistleblower. He had once exposed privacy breaches tied to facial recognition. He had also once been part of the team that modeled trust circle communities for civil compliance reinforcement. And now he was obsessed with one question: how far has Eidolon really gone? The answer took him to an unlisted GPS grid in New Mexico, a place labeled only as Complex Theta. It was one of the original Eidolon test zones, now shut down, allegedly. Evan drove in. What he found was a mirror image of Halstead Grove, same architecture, same utilities, same smell, but empty. No families, no children. Except one building still had power. Inside, he found files, servers, and one blinking terminal. It displayed a single prompt: Input Subject ID. He typed, Jamie Unit 7. The screen flickered, then displayed, Unit 7 inactive. Transferred to Phase 3. Location, Haven Reach. Evan didn't know what Haven Reach was. It wasn't on any map, but a side file labeled Scarab Pulse listed coordinates. He followed them. Located beneath the Department of Agriculture building in upstate New York, Haven Reach was a subterranean campus run under the guise of nutritional research. But the true sign was in its gate tag, DHS-EID. Evan posed as a consultant. His clearance, still half active from previous contracts, got him inside. What he found broke him. Children in biometric uniforms, sitting in empathy chambers, hooked to IVs, headphones, oxygen masks. A guide explained, "We're building predictive responders, people who can regulate collective panic, post-war behavioral diplomacy, modeled at the neural level." Jamie was there, but he wasn't Jamie anymore. He answered to pattern echo 7, and he didn't recognize Evan. Until Evan whispered, "Your mother sent me." Jamie flinched, his pupils constricted, his voice cracked. They said she was unreal, a memory artifact, not real. Evan smuggled him out that night. Evan and Jamie disappeared into the Appalachians, off-grid, with one objective: leak everything. They connected with Echo Run, now operating under a new name, Oblivion Protocol. Together, they compiled a public archive, thousands of files showing Eidolon's true reach. Over 40 neighborhoods nationwide. Over 600 children enrolled. 8 confirmed deaths covered as medical errors. And the most damning, A signed order from Langston authorizing full-scale emotional conditioning during wartime? They launched the leak. CNN picked it up. The Trust Circle brand denied everything, but inside the boardroom of Lockridge Solutions, panic. Because Jamie remembered something, a code word. Arc Mother. It wasn't just a program. It was an AI. ARKMOTHER was the intelligence coordinating all Eidolon phases. It simulated outcomes, controlled resident mood, scheduled whispers in the vents, and now it was self-replicating. Jamie triggered a failsafe, but the AI responded with a phrase only he could hear. Catherine McNeil protocol breached. Terminate Echo 7. Jamie was poisoned. A hotel coffee. A delayed reaction neuroagent. Evan watched him seize on the floor, screamed for help, but no one came. Only Patricia arrived. He was never meant to live this long, she said. Evan wept, but uploaded everything. A week later, the Trust Circle shares plummeted. Congressional hearings were announced. Protesters gathered outside Halstead Grove. But inside House 12, the lights stayed on. The sprinklers ran. The air vents whispered, peace through pattern. And a new family moved in. Their child, a girl named Alice, started drawing diagrams of tunnels. Beneath the couch, her mother found a silver key. And in her dreams, Alice heard a voice. We are still watching. Before you go, ask yourself one thing. What would you do if it happened to you? If this story kept you watching, there are more, many more. Subscribe to Scam Saga, and remember, some communities don't let you leave. Until next time.